Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing something a little bit different here on the channel. I'm doing a review of a book, obviously all titled All Cats Have Asperger Syndrome. I got this for my 19th birthday, so that was good, seeing as I asked for it, but I've read it about 3 times. It's not the most challenging of books to read. It's very thin, very basic, but I think that's where it is good. You know, this is obviously the back with a bio of what it is, some sort of quote things from different people, I thought, because it's got like won a bunch of awards and stuff, so and that. But basically, it's a little book with lots of different images of cats. Which I like, because I like cats, surprisingly enough, seeing as I have 2, and that, but yeah, they're uber adorable cats, and really nice glossy images, with little sort of, descriptions of really how a person with Asperger syndrome acts, and the similarities between them, and as you can tell by the book, cats, and that's as well, what I think the beauty of this book is that it's really simplistic. So I think for anyone who doesn't know anything about autism or anything along those lines, it's a point of reference. You know, everyone knows what a cat is. Everyone knows what a cat is and how they act. But then it's sort of saying, well, actually, this is also how a autistic person acts. I'm not saying we're all exactly like cats, but I'm saying there are similar characteristics at least. And what I do like is that it's also got some bits in this about the wider picture, about like how, the family of a autistic person / person with Asperger syndrome in this case, might feel as well about their own kid, and that they might be, really confused and isolated, and that the parents, that is, when actually the kid is fine, but they're confused because society is sort of shutting them out, but much like a cat, they're just content doing their own thing, and that, or they act, as I say, like, a bit differently, they might have friends who their parents might not have thought of them having those sort of friends, but they have them anyway, like, for example, I have very sensitive hearing, and I get rather agitated and annoyed by loud noises, but to be fair, one of the people that I talk to, or that is one of my friends at college, is rather loud. Well, I say that, but then again, when he's not with, like, the people that he spends time with on the course that we're on, like, if we're not in class and if it's just me and him talking, he's a lot quieter, but when it's, like, him and someone else, he seems to act a lot more different and a lot louder and that, and I don't know if that's just because he feels like he has to be like that, or if he feels like he has to do that to get his point across, or get the attention from those people, and if so, that's quite sad, but, I think the biggest comparison between myself and, say, cats in this instance is the fact that if I want someone to sort of talk to, I would much prefer them to come to me. Cats, when they're hungry, they want the person who is their, owner to feed them, or they'll go to them to tell them that they need feeding, sort of thing. And that, or they might not do that even. They just kind of want that sort of, they want things, but they don't always want to get them themselves. Or the more self-sufficient as well, the more they do their own thing, a lot of the time. And I think a lot of people with autism do that. But then again, it's because a lot of the time, even if people with autism even if they want to sort of rely on people, they don't know how to, if that makes sense, kind of interact with people on an emotional level, which is quite sad, in the sense that, some people might be able to count on someone to, like, they might want someone to do something, but someone without autism will be able to reassure themselves that, yeah, this other person who isn't me will follow through with this. Whereas with me, even though I have friends and that, I'd be worried that they might not be able to follow through on what I want them to do, and then the uncertainty of not knowing whether or not they would be able to do it / complete this task then sets anxiety. Whereas if I can just control that situation and I have to do this thing, you know, instead of having to rely on someone else, then that's less stressful because I know whether or not I'm going to be able to do this task or not, you know, and it's all down to me. So, and no one else. But again, I've read this book about 3 times already. Yeah, it's a really simplistic, really short book, but really, really effective. I think it's definitely for people who have never heard of the condition Asperger syndrome. I think if you do know what Asperger syndrome is, then I think it's a bit of a moot point buying it, because you already sort of know what the characteristics are. But if you're complete novice and have no point of reference to what Asperger syndrome is, and your son or daughter has just been diagnosed with it, or you yourself have just been diagnosed with it, this is a must-have, because at least it will give you a point of reference and a bit of guidance as to think, you know what? I'm not the only person who thinks like this. Cats also think like this. The difference being cats are cats, so it's socially acceptable for cats to do the things that cats do. If people kind of act similarly and have similar characteristics to cats, then that's a bit odd. Don't know why, just is, because people are stupid. But yeah, thanks for watching, comment, rate and subscribe.